Alrighty then, let's go. So it has rightly been pointed out that oil is the engine which drives the country's economy. All countries need oil, and this affects the price of goods through transportation, through fertilizer, through medicines. Everything is dependent on petroleum. And if there's an oil crisis and the price of oil goes up, all the price of goods goes up because you need oil for the cars, trains, planes, and that's it. Unfortunately, it's described as kind of the ultimate tier or the most important level of a country's economy, along with other things that are important. The strength of a country's currency is also important, but oil is fundamental, but it's not the ultimate tier. There's actually a level above oil, which is too bad that it isn't considered, and that is weather, because on weather depends crop production. Sunlight creates photosynthesis. Countries rain, their precipitation is absolutely necessary for crop production. And we've seen in the war with Iran consideration for some aspects of weather, like the talk of taking out desalination plants in various countries, and whether certain countries will be able to live without energy in the coming hot summer months, and how Iran would function if you bomb their energy plants, their bridges, their dams, and their desalination plants. Where desalination, where they take salt water and turn it into potable water. But Iran is in a drought, and so how does this affect it? Is there snow on the mountains? So weather is absolutely central. And now that the internal U.S. documents, I'm not making this up, the internal U.S. documents on weather say they want to manage the weather, sunlight management, rain management. It's all there in the papers. It should become very clear, should be clear that, even more dependent for a country's economy, even more than oil, it's weather. It's the weather. And these actions around the world by a desperate U.S. empire and the death throes of hegemony, actions in Venezuela, actions in Iran, it's about snatching up and seizing what's left of the natural weather and weaponizing it. Iran is in a historic biblical level drought, which is why 25 years ago or 20 years ago, you had the former president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, on the floor of the United States, on the floor of the United Nations, saying that the United States was cutting off precipitation over Iran, that the U.S. was using weather weapons over Iran to cut off the precipitation. So if you can control a country's sunlight, if you manage it, solar radiation management, you can control the amount of rain, you have complete control over their economy, which is why, with all the talk about Ukraine coming into the security architecture of NATO, there's very little consideration of what it actually means being part of this kind of treaty. It means not having sovereignty over your weather. That's why I get so many photos of the chemtrails from Germany, from Spain, from France, from England, from Ireland, from the Czech Republic. This needs to be mean, how can we even meaningfully talk about a war that the United States is waging in the Middle East if we don't address that chemical and biological warfare that's happening at home? It should be obvious that this is important because it also tells you the nature of the beast that we're dealing with.